Very good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Project 100 Storytellers. It's nice to have you all here tonight, and we expect the same energy as we had last night. Today we have two speakers to join us, and I'm sure you'll be able to learn a lot about branding and Isaac Brand. So buckle up and happy learning. But before we start, let me take a few minutes to thank our partners who have been backbone to this event. So our sincere gratitude extends to our official goal partner, Chartered Institute of Marketing, our media partner, Articulate Asia, and our platform partner, Curve Private Limited. With that, I would like to invite our speakers for tonight. We have Mr. Thilina Abeyakon, Member Committee Vice President for the term 2021 for Business to Business Marketing, Brand and Customer Experience of ISAC Sri Lanka. And also, I'd like to take the privilege of inviting Mr. Vithura Satish Chandra, the Member Committee Vice President for the term 1920 for Business to Business Marketing and Brand and Customer Experience of ISAC Sri Lanka, Head of Showcasing, an associate of Chartered Institute of Marketing and 360 Digital Strategist. Over to you.
Thank you, Acha, for the very warm welcome. So, Osi, can we have the screenshot? Okay, so first of all, again, very warm welcome to the very first session of the Project 100 Storytellers. So I'm Thilina Abeyakon, the Member Committee Vice President for Business to Business Marketing, Brand and Customer Experience for ISAC Sri Lanka for the term 2021. So yeah, and we have with us our my lovely predecessor as well, Mr. Vithura Satish Chandra. So yeah, moving on. First of all, I would like to ask you guys a question. The chat is open, or you can even turn on your mic and speak as well. What do you think a brand is? What's the idea you have? Anyone want to share? What do you think a brand is? You can type in a chat. You can. I prefer if you guys actually turn on your mic and speak, because let's rather have a discussion here as well instead of just a pure session. Yeah, Shahan says face of a company, unique identity of a company. Anything else?
Something that distinguishes the brand, the identity from the rivals.
Nice. Anyone else? And who's that is? Yeah.
Chetana.
Amazing, Chetana. Yes, amazing replies I'm getting. Yeah, everyone's correct. Like, there's no wrong answer. The thing is, like, a brand is something like brand is an interesting and also a very powerful thing. Like, we can say like that create a tremendous market value to your organization. Basically, brand is something like a feeling that the customer, the prospect customer have about your organization or your product or service. So yeah, next slide. So yeah, when it comes to brand, a brand is more than just a name or just an identity, just a logo, just a product. As you can see, like we have like our ISAC logos, our ISAC products such as global, our ELD products such as Global Talent, Global Volunteer, Global Teacher, and then we have our EW products, Youth Speak, and other various products that are on the process. Yeah, all of these things here. Then we have logos. Then we have ISAC Blue Human. Like all of these are part of part of our ISAC brand. Okay, and you cannot say like one part of this is as a a part of your brand. Like you just can't say the ISAC logo or like your product logo. Let's say Global Talent logo. That's not just your brand. That's just a part of your brand. Okay, moving on, next slide. Yeah, so like let me quote Jeff Bezos. Like he goes to say that your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room, in the basic sense. Like, and trust me, he has every right to say this, because like I'm not sure whether you guys know this or not. Currently Amazon is the most valuable global brand in the world, with a brand value estimation of around 415.9 billion US dollars. With the COVID situation happening, with all their virtual products and all the interesting, all the new market inventions they introduced, and especially like focusing on their movies. And they recently even bought MGM Studios as well for around 8.4 or $5 billion dollars. You guys may not know MGM Studios, but MGM Studios are the people who basically owns the rights for James Bond films. So yeah, now MGM Studios is also a part of Amazon. So like this person has every right to say and define what is a brand is. So as he goes on to say, a brand is that something when you're not there, when your customers, the way how your customers perceives you. Next slide. So yeah, basically a brand is an identifier, a brand is a promise, a brand is an asset, a brand is a set of perception, a brand is a mind share. So let me like you guys may wondering what are these terms, what does this mean? Okay, so like I'll briefly like explain each part, like each aspects of the brand. Like when I asked you guys, what's a brand is, like you guys told me it's a like a name which gives unique recognition, demanding of product, a part of product. All of the things that you guys explained are the part of brand, like and these are like with these parts, like you can clearly define what a brand is. Like when it comes to brand as an identifier, it's a name, a symbol, sign, a design, anything, any and everything, that a combination, that things that identifies you and your offerings amongst the competition to a customer. Let's say for an example, when it comes to Isaac, a brand is something like a when it comes to identifies in Isaac, our blue Isaac human logo, our very own Isaac logo, powered by logo, product logo. Those are the identifiers. Like that's how people identify your brand. People identify your product, our product in our market. Like we have, for an example, we don't have direct competitors within Sri Lanka, but we have indirect competitors such as Rotaract, Leo, etc. But like from those our indirect competitors, through our identifiers only, how people identifies our brand specifically with logos, names, and etc. And when it comes to a brand promise, like what do you guys think a brand promise is? I'm just curious, like any replies? Anyone, like any idea? What do you guys think a brand promise is? Exactly, Sean. Expectation, a promise. A brand promise is what we are promising to offer for our prospect customers and our current customers. Basically, what we promise to provide, what the our customers are expecting from us. Next, we have like when it comes to like brand promise, basically in our organization, we can say our main promise is providing leadership. Our main promise is not providing exchanges, but providing leadership. And how are we going to achieve that promise? We are going to provide leadership through achieving cross-cultural understanding. And that's to achieve cross-cultural understanding only, we have exchanges. So that's the core of our organization. And next, what is a brand asset? Asset, anyone? Sure. Yes. Anyone else?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, brand is an asset because it says everything about the organization or product or service. It says everything to the world. So like when it comes to Isaac, Isaac brand drives the world that we are providing the leadership skills. Like us, we are giving the message.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Mali. Amazing. All of you guys are true. Correct. Okay. When it comes to brand asset, as we can see, like it's basically the reputation we have in our marketplace. The reputation we have, amongst our customers. Like for an example, the brand valuation number you saw about like 415 billion US dollars for Amazon. That's the brand perception Amazon has among all of its customers and amongst its competitors. Like let's say for an example, why would you go and buy an Apple iPhone, or like let's say one Samsung or anything like a top brands like that, or like would you go and buy a very unknown Chinese brand? That's the difference between brand asset, the valuation, the brand reputation you have. Like you'll spend like we will spend lots of money buying an Apple or Samsung over any other phone brands, because the quality, the assurance, the brand perception, the reputation these companies have over the others, over the unknown brands. Same thing with same thing with pretty much every competing product. And yeah, hence the brand as an asset is like extremely important, and organization should give the extreme emphasis to improve this reputation amongst the competition. And next, brand is a set of perception. You might thinking, what the hell does that mean? Okay, so like, what is a perception? Anyone? You are correct, Ahmed. Nice. Yes, Roshan. Yes. Like when it comes to perception, like perception is like perceiving things. Like a brand is very much of a perception, because like we have to think how our customers are perceiving our product. Let's say for an example, like how as Isaac, like how are our customers, our youth, our exchange participants, like how are they, and our partners, how are they perceiving our brand? Like we can talk about leadership. They perceive us about leadership, youth movement, the projects we are doing, the exchanges, culture understanding. Those are various of the perceptions our our customers have on our brand. And finally, what is the meaning of like a brand is a mind share? This was like very interesting for me as well. I was also wondering, like, nice, Ravin. Yes, Roshan. Yes, Shan. Yeah. Mindshare is basically like the the unique position that that an organization or anyone has amongst the customer base. Like what's the customer, the idea customer has around of the brand, and how are they like sharing with their with their friends, like how are they promoting our brand? Like it has to be like brand. If we have all of the above components that we discussed in a good level, then the customer will be automatically promoting the brand as well. Exactly, Suha. Brand loyalty. Exactly. So yeah, can you move to the next slide? Yes, as I talked before, a brand is a feeling. Yeah, this slide before that. Yeah, brand is a feeling. At the end of the day, like we can't. There are ways to calculate properly the brand equity, which will be talked by Vidura in detail. Yes, we can calculate the value of our brand as well. At the end of the day, if our customers, if our prospect customers are not feeling good about our product, if they don't feel like they don't need our product, then it does not matter however much we try to give our product to a market segment. It does not matter. So like if our customer, if we can install a very strong feeling amongst our customers, then we can have very strong brand. Okay, next slide. Yeah. To emphasize on this, I have a very nice advertisement by Old Spice. Like with this, like you can see the way they are trying to build the feeling. Like they are not trying to market their product directly. So Ozzy, can we have the video played?
Oh, ladies, look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using ladies' scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
What do you guys think about this video? Any comments? You can unmute. You can unmute and talk, or like you can share the chat as well. What do you guys think? See the feeling part. You have to sell them a feeling. Okay. Amazing. Okay. So moving on. What is branding? Anyone? Any ideas? Thank you, Ravindra. Anyone? What is branding? True. Yes, Shavin. Yes, Danula. Malkit. Yes. True. Shruti. Yes. Perception. True. Branding is basically, the process of, creating a unique identity. The things we discussed, creating the unique identity for our brand, and bringing it to our customers. Like for an example, we can say like the way we are bringing our, let's say, global talent product. We have like so many internship opportunities for our EPs, then also job opportunities, etc. Then now we also have like from promising employee opportunities for partners. Branding is basically how we are bringing these, our brand to our products. Our prospect customers. Next slide. So yeah, I hope you guys know who Mr. Philip Kotler is. Like he's basically considered as the father of marketing. So like he goes and say like, I just got a quote from him to give you guys a clear idea about brand. What is branding? Basically, branding is endowing products and services with the powerful brand. Basically, we are the way we are selling our brand to our prospect customers. So next slide. Yeah, we have another small video. Yeah, as you guys can see from that video also, the way they are doing branding, they are not directly promoting the product. They are not directly asking you to buy Coca-Cola. They are not even telling you to buy Coca-Cola. Okay, what they are doing is like they are selling your feeling. They are selling the feeling of friendship. The Coca-Cola is selling the like giving you the idea of like to have like it's have a really good time with your friends, and while you're having that good time, you can have Coca-Cola as with you as well. That's the way they do branding. Their campaign of taste the feeling campaign, they have been started since if I remember correctly around 2015. And yeah, the way they sell product Coca-Cola is they are not directly asking you at all, but indirectly saying, whenever you are indirectly giving you the idea that whenever you are having a good time, whenever you are out with your friends, whenever you are having good time with your family, you can have Coca-Cola with you. Okay. So yeah, with that, shall we move to the next slide? I will invite Vidura. Yeah, Vidura, over to you.
Hey, Isaac.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Can you guys see me and hear me?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool. So I will give a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Vidura, I'm 27 years old. I was the B2B and BCXP MCVP for the term 1920 before Tilina. So what I basically had to do was maintain the B2B funnels and to be responsible about the overall brand of Isaac. So I think Tilina is doing the same, but a bit extra. Talking about my qualifications, like I'm a graduate from academic qualifications. I'm a graduate from University of Colombo. I actually studied biological science, but then I shifted my career into digital marketing. So I took my professional qualification through CIM. Currently, I finished the final stage of CIM and I'm ACIM. So I think I heard that you guys got the gold partnership from CIM as well for this event. So it's a good way, like try to maintain the partnership, because it's going to be a really good asset for Isaac in the future. So at the bottom, I mentioned myself as a 360 digital strategist, because like one of my key strengths is that if a brand is given to me in the digital space, like I will do all the 360 stuff in order to create more awareness, make more sales, work on the growth. So that is my key strengths when it comes to my career. Before I start the session, so my session is about brand equity. So I want to ask a couple of questions. So OC, just keep the slide here as it is. So what do you understand by the brand equity? Type it in the chat, I can see. Anyone? consumer perception, perception of the brand name of product, impact on the market, the quality and reliability, what makes people do way of selling or value of the brand to the company. Okay, I think we have a couple of good answers. Shall we go on to the next slide? Again, next one. Yeah, keep it there. So brand equity is the commercial value generated by a company through a recognizable product or a service. So I will give a very easy example. So I think Tilina mentioned Apple as well previously. So if you take Apple and another product which is exactly similar to Apple, okay, it's not named as Apple. It has all the features of Apple, like the camera and the quality and everything is there. And it's made by a better country, better standards. They have everything. But that company can't sell the product at the same value. So if you take an Apple iPhone, like if you take it as $1,000 US, that other company can't sell that product in the same value. The biggest reason is for that is the commercial value of the brand name. So every brand has a commercial value. The better the brand, the better the recognition of the brand, the higher the commercial value. So that is what we call the brand equity. So that's why even though there are a lot of similar products coming to the market, they can't have a better pricing. Like even if that phone which is similar to iPhone is like it is pretty much similar to iPhone, they can't value it at 1,000 because they don't have the necessary brand equity. So the brand equity is measured by a couple of factors. Move on to the next slide. Okay, we'll talk a bit about the brand equity. Brand equity refers to the value a company gains from its name recognition when compared to generic equivalent. So we talked about that. The quality of your product or service isn't the only factor that determines the level of success your company will achieve. So when we talk about a company, there are a lot of things, like not the product, not the service. There are a lot of things. Maybe the HR, the finances, how the people talk about the brand acquisition rates, the pricing and everything. So all those factors are going to affect the brand equity. So as marketers, what you guys need to understand is what are those factors which are going to affect the brand equity. Then you need to make sure, like when you are communicating, when you are planning something, when you are planning a campaign, you need to make sure that brand equity is also considered. So that's the most important part of the during this whole session. What I want you to give is you need to understand the brand equity in depth, because as marketers, when it comes to communications, you need to be responsible for the brand equity of the organization. So here we are not going to talk about the brand equity of Isaac, because brand equity of Isaac is like we can talk about it, but if we are going to give a value, we will not give a value because Isaac is a not-for-profit organization. So we will not that much focus on the brand equity of Isaac, but the elements in the brand equity is pretty much important for any organization, including Isaac. You also need to worry about how your company's brand is perceived by your customers and prospects. So customers and prospects, like those people are the stakeholders. You need to worry about all the stakeholders when you are working on the brand equity of any brand. Stakeholders means they can be the internal stakeholders, like the members and the people who work inside, and the external stakeholders, like the customers, like the partners, service providers. Those are the external stakeholders. So you need to make sure that all those simple individual touch points are maintained, like as a marketer. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, metrics to measure the brand equity. So if you go to Google and search brand equity, there you will find a lot of modules which talk about brand equity. They are all right. They are not wrong. But since we are not doing any theory session and like none of you are going to face any exams, we are not gonna look into a single module. We'll just use a generic module in order to understand what is brand equity, what are the elements of brand equity. So here we are going to divide the brand equity into three metrics: knowledge metrics, preference metric, financial metrics. So one thing that I want to make clear is like there's going to be activity at the end of the session. So you need to understand whatever I'm teaching you. Like if there are any questions, please ask in the chat box, because that activity needs to be done through what you're going to learn from here. Okay. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay, so then we are going to break down the metrics in detail. So the knowledge metrics is the popularity of the brand. So that one I'm going to break it down to two parts: the functional associations and the emotional associations. So the functional associations are the use of the product or the service. So imagine if you are going to think of a toothpaste at the moment, currently, think of a toothpaste. What comes to your mind first? Can I see a couple of answers in the chat? Which toothpaste comes to your mind? Signal. Okay. Close up. Klogard. Superiority. Okay. So that. Okay. So if you take majority of the answers that's given here, it's Signal, right? Because the marketing communication is done mostly for Signal. Then Klogard, Close Up, I think came recently, like 5 years back. So why does Signal comes to our mind first? Why not like if we take the majority here, most of you had the mind like the Signal is there. Signal there then, yeah. We see that a lot in TV. Yeah, that's correct. Sinaboeva, that's how they position it. Like if you take Coca-Cola, they never talk like, even in the video showed by Thilina, Coca-Cola never talks about their products. They talks about their feeling and the expression. What is that is happiness. If you talk about Christmas, they always talk about Christmas, right? They put the Santa in red because Santa didn't used to be red. There was no Santa in marketing. So Coca-Cola introduced Santa to marketing. Santa was there in stories and stuff, but Coca-Cola took the first step and they marketed using Santa. Now everyone thinks that Santa was there since the beginning, but it was used by Coca-Cola. So when it comes to Coca-Cola, they always talk about happiness, the joy. Even in the video, like they were all smiling. Even in Signal, they were smiling. Sinaboga, all the ads. So if the effectiveness of promotions and advertising. So those are knowledge metrics created by the marketers in the organization. Then the emotional associations, how your product or service makes your customer feel. So if you go and ask the customer of Isaac, how do you feel about Isaac? So that's the response that you want, that really matters when it comes to the emotional association. If you talk about Coca-Cola, how do you feel about it? I understand that a lot of people trying to like tarnish the brand of Isaac, tarnish the brand of Isaac, not Isaac, sorry, tarnish the brand of Coca-Cola using plastic and blah, blah. Yeah, that's true. Like if you talk about Unilever, most of their brands and products come in plastic packages. Most of the products that we are going to use in our household, all of them are covered in plastic. But we are trying to, like justify that by pointing it into a single company. Why do you do that? So like when it comes to environment, like yes, actually like Coca-Cola is actually they are I think national partners of Isaac. So we need to actually talk about them. I don't know whether they are still the partner of Isaac, but they are trying their hard, to reduce the plastic usage. So that's one place that the brand equity is going to increase. It's not because that the customers are actually worried about usage of plastic. That's not the case, because in return they are increasing their brand equity by using like reducing the amount of plastic. I think you have heard of this campaign they run. I think they call it Give Back Life. They are gonna recycle the past plastics and create different stuff out of it, because with the current situation, they believe that the recycling is the best solution. Because if we are going to abolish, imagine like by law, if you're going to abolish plastic today, what's going to happen? Sri Lanka can't survive without plastic. For a week they can't survive with the packaging and stuff. With anything, like Sri Lanka can't survive. We are not that developed, so we can't abolish plastic. But at the moment, what we can do is we can actually start recycling plastic. That's the best way to control the usage of plastic. So emotional association. So some people doesn't like Coca-Cola because they are harming the environment. Some people like the Coca-Cola because of the taste. Personally, I like the taste of Coca-Cola. Like even our previous president nowadays, like that dude, like he used to drink one Coca-Cola per day, regardless of the environmental pollution, whatever the shit. He was the president of ISAC. He used to drink Coca-Cola. So that's the emotional association he had with Coca-Cola. So preference matrix, how customers perceive your brand. So I'm gonna like break it into 4 points. Brand relevance, a unique value proposition. So we call it the uniqueness of any brand. Like if there are a couple of customers, competitors, imagine that. Let's take the best example: Kiehl's, Glomax, and Food City, Cargill's Food City. Okay. So what is the unique value proposition of Kiehl's? Let's forget about Glomax. Let's take Cargill's Food City and Kiehl's. What is the unique value proposition? A couple. There can be a couple of value propositions. Any answers? Freshness. Okay. They are communicating freshness. Yeah. Freshness and quality. Quality and products and donuts. Exactly, donuts. One good idea. Green, freshness by green. Okay. Okay. Value proposition is basically a proposed value. So imagine a company is there. There are a couple of values that a company is believing they should not use plastic, and that company is again believing we should have a different product than what our competitors is using, which is low in value. So those are the unique value propositions. So something unique to that organization. They are proposing a value which is unique to that organization. Go green. Okay, so I have a couple of answers. So I will give a small judgment on what I see about, not the answers, on what I see about Kiehl's and Cargill's Food City. First thing that I noticed is Kiehl's has the biggest car park. Okay, so this is not relevant to any product or service products, but it's a service. They have a big car park, but there are Cargill's Food Cities which with like very small car parks, like they are not maintaining any standards. And the freshness, yes, but Cargill's Food City has the freshness, but they don't communicate it properly. And the green, Kiehl's is always green. So Kiehl's used to be in red color, maybe 10 years back. Then they did a brand, they rebranded their brand, like their communication, they rebranded everything. And that became their biggest change. And that became their biggest turning point in their history. Because before that, Cargill's Food City was on top. Everyone went to Cargill's Food City. Now people are going to Kiehl's, majority. They are having the highest market share in grocery, but there's a newcomer, Glomax from SoftLogic. So yeah, so those are a couple, and they are using plastic straws. So that's one thing. Process by changing color. Yeah, changing color. They are how their stuff is going to look like in the rack, and communications. Because that's what Cargill's did. They didn't do much stuff. Kiehl's did. True. Last time, best value for money. Yeah. Customer satisfaction. We'll talk about customer satisfaction. Next is loyalty stuff. Loyalty we are going to talk about in financial metrics. The next one is the accessibility, distribution, and reach. If you are going to buy something, and if it's far away and the reach is not, like even the digital presence is not there, you are not going to love that product. The loyalty, yeah. The third point is the loyalty. So what is loyalty? So loyalty is, so the word says out the meaning. It's like how loyal you are to a brand. The best example is the Apple phone users. Look how loyal they are. Like talk some shit to their face and see their face. But I have Android. I have a Huawei Nova 3. I really don't give a shit. Like if you are gonna talk shit about it, yeah, go ahead. But if someone talks shit about Apple, like they are gonna talk about user friendliness, the features, the sleek, the camera, all the bullshit, because they are very loyal. So the loyalty, the next point is in the loyalty, I'm going to talk about the reduced brand switch. So brand switch is basically how much willing a person to switch their brand from one to another. Will you switch your Apple phone, iPhone, to an Android phone? Huawei, Apple to Huawei. Will you go from Keels to Cargill's Food City? So that is the brand switch. So people are a lot of brands, they try to reduce the brand switch by using a loyalty matrix. So if we talk about the loyalty, one of the biggest schemes that's go around is the Nexus card. One thing. So those cards are the biggest way the loyalty is kept. One way, it's not a very emotional loyalty. It's a push loyalty, but that loyalty is there. So the loyalty that card came first in Tesco, which was a UK company. It's again a grocery. They inducted that card loyalty program, I think back in 1993, but currently we are using it. I think we introduced it in like 10 or 12 years earlier, but the initial first step of the loyalty cards were inducted in 1993 or 1995. So in that way, what they are going to do is they are going to give their internal currency to the customers, the lot of benefits, and like keep their customers in the loop. So that's one thing. The value created, more bang for their buck. So if you are going to pay some amount to a product or service, you expect the best out of that, right? If you're going to invest like 50,000 of your money, you need the best. If you're going to invest and you are going to get a like very bad experience, you are not going to be happy about it. So those are the points in preference matrix. So the last one is the financial matrix. So financial matrix, financial appearance of the organization affects the brand equity of any organization. The first one is the market share, own share in a given market. So how many percentage, 60%, like if there are big two companies, how much is this company's owning? 80%, 70% likewise. The price premium, selling above the average. If the brand is good, they can sell a product as the price at the above the average price. So we'll take again Apple and Samsung, and you can take. So if we take the average of a phone and the average price of an Apple phone, it's high. That's because of the higher brand equity. If we take Samsung, they have higher brand equity for some of their product. So if we take their top tier products, they have a higher brand equity that is there. So they can sell that phone above the average. So I will take another example. There are two Apples. The average price of an Apple is 50, but because of the higher brand equity, higher brand value, higher brand awareness of your organization, you can sell that Apple for 50 and 80. So you can always sell above the average. Transaction value is the price offered. You know that a lot of groceries in the market, they are trying to give a lot of offers and discounts and stuff to battle in the price. The sustainability, how sustainable your operations are. Sustainability doesn't appear only for environment. It appears for financial sustainability, your HR sustainability. Sustainability can be everywhere. So that sustainability needs to be there. The last one is the revenue generation, scaling up the ability, scaling up ability. So how much revenue is generating in your organization? If you are generating a lot of revenue, there's a higher chance of people investing in your stocks. People are buying your stocks. So they know this organization is making money. So I need to put my money here instead of putting my money in the other competitor. He's losing money. So that's one way the brand equity is measured. So yeah, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, so this one is about basically the importance of brand equity. I think we talked all the importances of brand equity, but as a marketer, you don't have to worry about a number. A brand equity can be a number, it can be a financial value, because imagine that an organization is going to sell one of its product. It needs to understand the value of its brand. So they are going to calculate that through brand equity. So there are third-party organizations even in Sri Lanka. There are organizations which are involved called brandfinance.com. Go to them and see. Those people are giving the brand values, brand equity data, brand values. They are ranking the brands in the market. So with that, people are getting a lot of benefits. If you have a higher brand equity, those organizations have a higher amount of advantages when it comes to competitions and stuff. So here I have listed down a couple of stuff. Have a better understanding of your target personas. Target persona is basically the target person. If you are selling a product, who's the ideal target person for your product? So that is the target persona. How old he is, what are his behaviors, what are his interests, where's the geography, is he from Colombo or Gold? So that is the target persona. It's a very detailed document of a person who's willing to buy a product of yours. The second one is be better equipped to develop and improve your company's marketing and advertising strategies. So so this is the most important one. So once you understand these elements of brand equity, it's really easy for you to do your marketing. Okay. The third one, be better prepared to meet the needs of customers through all stages of the sales funnel. So I don't know whether you guys know what a sales funnel is. Sales funnel is the breakdown of the customer journey within it's a sales journey from attraction. Like if a person is seeing one of your ads to that, to your purchase, that is a sales funnel. So if you don't have any sales, an idea about what a sales funnel is, go and search it in Google, it's there. Because I'm not going to talk about the sales funnel because it's going to take a lot of time. So you need to understand what your customers are doing and what are the things that you can do in order to optimize the sales funnel from the perspective of a marketer. Yeah, so that's the third point. Let's move on to the fourth. Next slide. Okay, so I think I've clearly clarified what the brand equity is. So if you want, I think I have asked to share the PPT with you guys. So this is a group activity. You are going to separate it into a couple of groups. I think 7 groups with your team leaders. Your VPs will be your team leaders. So the part one is think as a marketer and fill the following table. So in this one, you need to list down 10 points on how you feel about the brand of Isaac. When you are answering this, do not answer like bad designs. Do not answer very vague answers, because that's how a person who's not a marketer who's going to answer this question. You are going to be a marketer, so you need to answer this as a good marketer. You need to think into the deep of the organization. How are our finances? How are our products? How are our services? How are our appearances? Our marketing strategies, how are they? So if you need any guidance, you can go to the previous slides and see how I broke down the 3 metrics. So under those 3 metrics, I mentioned a couple of points, couple of elements. You can go through those elements and see what are the things that we can improve in the next 10 years. So if it's for improvement, you can add in the left side of the table, and in the in the right hand side of the table, in the left side, you need to put how you feel about the brand of Isaac right now, currently. In the other side, you need to put in 10 years, how you are going to see. So you need to think about the future of the world as well. What's going to happen in 10 years as well. You need to think about that and try to fill in the documents. For this, we are going to give you 15 minutes. And the part 2 is, so this is the creative part. So you guys are marketers, and each and every entity, I believe that there's a designing person who designing, a couple of people with designing backgrounds. So in the second one, we want you to visualize Isaac in 10 years in the next slide. So we are giving you a presentation separately. So you guys will be separated out into a couple of breakout rooms. In those one, your team leaders will guide you how to do this. So put all the efforts. Like if there are 20 members in the team, don't switch on your mics and try to speak up. Like try to keep all the stuff in the chat, like go in order. Okay. Yeah, so that's about this. So once you are finished with this, like there will be a small presentation that the team leaders have to do, 2-minute presentation. After that, we'll go to the Q&A session. Yeah, Tilna.
Yes, I think OC will start putting you guys to the breakout rooms now. So while you guys are in the breakout rooms, me, Vidura, myself and Vidura will be coming as well from time to time and like give you some small feedbacks. So yeah, we are expecting to see some nice presentations. Akira, you can start the presentations.
So guys, what we came up with is in Isaac, we are as of right now, we see that we are targeting the emotions of youth. We are focusing on networking and all the friendship building and through leadership development. I think we are targeting on emotions of the youth when we are marketing our products, and all the network building. We have mentioned that is space to meet friends abroad. So that's like how we are like giving the feeling out to our audience. I think that's how we do that. And when it comes to like we have more focus on leadership development in Isaac, and also belongingness and we are building loyalty through our culture and belongingness. When we are a member of Isaac, we are never alone. So that's how we keep our community loyal to Isaac. And also like when it comes to marketing, we say that we help you develop soft skills and those things. And I think like when we are marketing our Isaac products, we don't like put a lot of focus on SDGs. When it comes to like IGB, I think we are mainly pitching those SDGs, but when it comes to like getting that Isaac brand out, we don't put much focus on SDGs other than leadership development. So that's one thing that we can focus on. And we are using promotions through merch, and everybody loves merch, so we are using that as well. And not a lot of focus on building network when it comes to marketing, like when it comes to like how we see Isaac in 10 years, I think like we have to build a brand so that other companies would love to partner up with. Like when we have to build a brand, we are chasing other entities, right? Other partners. So we have to like make Isaac a brand where everyone would love to partner up. So we don't have to chase them; they have to come to us. So, and also when it comes to like Isaac in Rotaract and other clubs and societies, everyone knows about those society. But when it comes to Isaac, only the youth knows about Isaac. So we have to like make Isaac a brand name where everyone knows, all ranges of ages of people knows about Isaac. And we have to influence society on the value of the SDGs more when it comes to marketing. Like I have mentioned in the negatives, the brand as of now. So we have to like focus more on SDGs when it comes to like we are giving out to the Isaac brand out there. And we have to like put more focus on the world's largest youth run organization thing, because like we are focusing on leadership development, but people don't know about Isaac, because in that way, I think I am saying like we can like market Isaac, saying that this is the world's largest youth run organization. So, and also when it comes to like school level, I think like in Sri Lanka, school level, the leadership skills are very much lacking in school children. So we can, there's like a marketplace where we could promote Isaac, because Sri Lankan school children in very much of a need of leadership skills. So yes, and when this is a poster that we have made. So we have represented those things in this poster as well, the networking, soft skills improvement as of right now, and promoting through merch, and giving Isaac out to the world. And what we want to do is we have to promote Isaac more in schools, and put more focus on SDGs when it comes to promoting Isaac, and make our partners come to us and make Isaac a brand everyone knows. So yes, thank you guys. Hope you have a good time.
Amazing job, CZ. So because of the as you said, like because of the time constraints and everything, we'll give an overall feedback at the end. Amazing job. Shall we move to the next presentation, Arsha?
Yes. Next up is CS.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, Diniti.
All right. Okay. So as of now, when we see the brand Isaac, what we feel is there's not a lot of people who understand, who really understand what Isaac is. We are more known as a volunteer organization rather than an organization which develop leadership. So leadership has taken a second hand when it comes to Isaac brand in the industry. But also Isaac is also well recognized internationally and internationally basically, and we are known for a place where the people can be themselves and who acts as a family instead of just strangers and just the organizational people who belong to different roles. And this is a great platform to engage with different set of people who are in different mindsets, and to develop our skills, our leadership skills and our soft skills, and to become friends with people from all over the world. But what do we want to see in Isaac in 10 years is to Isaac becoming a brand which promotes leadership. So when we talk about Isaac, they should be thinking of leadership. So that's where we want to take Isaac to. And Isaac should be the pioneer of leading youth in the future workforce, and they should be people who are creating new solutions and innovative solutions to the world problems. And I hope with the digitalization trend that we have now, in the future, Isaac will become the whole Isaac will become one whole entity to who will be representing the youth in places like UN as well. So I will be handing over to Tisal to describe our poster. Tisal, over to you.
Sure. Thank you. So this is our visualization for Isaac in 10 years, which is Isaac 2031. So first of all, we have hand in hand, we are building up a culture where everyone is welcome, nobody feeling left out inside this culture, as well as we have global problems in the future world, as well as developing the roll call culture, actively engaging in everything we do in Isaac, as well as diverse set of people living as one in this world. So we can reduce the conflicts we'll have with each other, the nations, as well as representation in youth in the leadership of the world in future. So we are highly focusing on that part too. More youth representation in the leadership, the overall leadership in the world, as well as the last point would be whole world becoming one large global village. So thank you, everyone. This is a visualization.
Amazing job, CS and Rajarata. Like, yeah, very informative. Amazing job.
Thank you. And now I would like to invite CN to present.
Right, let me share the screen. All right, so my name is Ravin and I'm from Isaac in CN. So our idea about how Isaac can be in 10 years time is basically for that we actually plan on having a rebrand, not a rebranding, but a better branding for Isaac, for better recognition and to improve the brand recall. Because one issue that we find in Isaac is most people other than university graduates find it hard to see what Isaac is. And even among the universities, people ask what Isaac is. So that is a problem. And we are planning on methods to improve brand recall. And adding to that, we'll be also focusing on adding more products in the Isaac profile. So currently we see that there are problems with volunteering because given the COVID situation, which is unforeseeable. And with the digital outreach to Isaac, we believe that we can go forward with the digital outreach that is received for ISAC and create more products out of it. And broadening the target audience. So in this target audience aspect, we actually focused on school students and how we can actually market ISAC to them during their life at school itself. So they'll be more interested to join ISAC once they get into a university, or once they think of applying for a job or other volunteering activity. So that is one aspect of it. And moving forward, have a more global outreach. So we know that ISAC is currently in over 112 countries, but then the outreach in the sense, just the numbers doesn't matter. Like ISAC always says, the quality of the numbers is what matters. So what we see is that even through our social media platforms, the reach is very low for ISAC. And we believe that there can be methods, there are methods that we can make improve it. And we think that through that, our global outreach can be increased in a much more qualitative way than a quantitative way. And yeah, so moving forward, the media channels. So currently we are having media channels in Sri Lanka. I see that we have Facebook, Instagram, and the traditional social media channels. But then moving with the trend, we believe that ISAC could go into more new channels such as so we have Snapchat Spotlight introduced recently, and we have TikTok, and we could go into such platforms to increase the reach of ISAC. Basically, let's say roll calls could basically go in ISAC during this COVID pandemic era where digitalization actually happens. And better collaboration with other youth-led organizations. Basically, we intend organizations like Rotaract. So Rotaract has a more reach than ISAC, which is clearly visible because people know about Rotaract more than ISAC. And we believe that through this, the better achievement of SDGs can be accomplished, because if Rotaract and ISAC, if organizations like Rotaract and ISAC get together, we can build a platform where we can achieve our SDGs better. And in 10 years time, so our post is basically one that focuses where we can be in 10 years time. So we believe that ISAC could be the best career opportunity provider for youth around the world. And that being said, what we actually mean from here is that people, as in the young graduates, the school leavers, the people who are actually doing jobs right now, would come to ISAC before they apply for their next job. So we believe that ISAC could be that intermediary. ISAC could be that platform that allows them, that facilitates them the facility to actually have a better career in their life. So we believe that all youth inclusive in the world, they could have a better platform through ISAC for them to develop. So yeah, with that, we bring an end to our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravin and Team CN. Next is Candy. Can we have Candy to present?
Yes,
Amazing job, CN, with TOA and IIT as well. Amazing job.
Okay, shall I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So here are the ideas we as the ISAC in Candy and ISAC in Jaffna has come up with, and how we feel ISAC at the moment is a functional association based on service. Like we have categorized this as a preference of like matrix as preference, like functional association based on service, and having brand acronyms like striving for excellence. Striving excellence is the stand of MC. We have our own brand, so we'll see this stands as our brand. So then we have focused on youth and their wants and needs. Then we have world largest youth-run organization. That is our main asset. As ISAC, we have the name as the world largest youth-run organization. So then we makes you want to apply and engage to the opportunities in ISAC. So opportunities to increase international exposure, and the Then we have motivating for different opportunities. In Isaac, we give more than enough opportunities to youth in all around the world. So that's how we see Isaac at the moment. And we provide necessary knowledge to market on our own brand. So then brand relevance, Isaac is a unique brand, most popular service brand in the world, and Isaac protects the environment. So those are the things we see as the Isaac at the moment. And in the next 10 years, we have got the main points to this our poster, what we feel the brand of Isaac in 10 years. Uh, we see Isaac in 10 years, there should be increased accessibility of the brand. Accessibility to platforms will be easier. There should be a competition to join Isaac. Base and seed of all future leaders in the world will be Isaac. We can see more than enough leaders in the world as Isaacers. So we see Isaac in 10 years more than this, more than leaders building from Isaac. And it would be the best brand for non-profitable organization in the world. Yes, Isaac had the name that world largest youth run organization. So we need it more than that. We need to like catch the higher upper things more than this. And people around the world are waiting eagerly for Isaac events. Like if there is a Isaac event, people are waiting for it. Then Isaacers should be able to increase their value in job market through all over the world. The people should know that Isaacers are really passionate to do their job. So then high competition amount companies to give sponsorship for Isaac, and increase number of Isaac products and opportunities for the exchange participants. That what we see as Isaac in Candy and Isaac in Jaffna in 10 years in Isaac. Thank you.
Amazing job, Candy and Jaffna, and leading the team, Risini. Amazing job. Next, Acha.
Next, we invite Isaac in USJ, NSBM, and Coimbatore to present.
Okay, when I talk about how we feel about the brand of Isaac, how we feel about the brand of Isaac, Isaac is catering to the international level, and in Isaac, we all members are energetic and enthusiastic, and we have a great experience, and we have a good networking, and we have leadership development, and there's a corporate exposure, unique brand entity, and we have a good friendship among all of us, and we are solution oriented. So how we want to feel the brand of Isaac in 10 years, we would like to see the expansion of the brand of Isaac among schools and other institutes, and we would like to see Isaac as a brand that contributed in fulfilling SDG in 2013, and great partnership among the corporate sector, creates famous leadership personalities, well-established brand, creating awareness in the public. Like we like to create a more awareness of the brand of Isaac, and we like to expand the brand of Isaac not only in the youth but also on other generations as well. And we like to becoming an affiliate marketing platform, we like to create Isaac as a professional qualification. And in 10 years, we would like to feel the brand of Isaac, the recognition of brand of Isaac. Okay, so move on to next slide. This is what we designed. Okay, so this is an we would like to say like beyond the common, like not the same as others in 10 years, like in more way, and we like to expansion and uniqueness and a great leader and and connected to the world likewise. So thank you so much. That's
Hasini, can you explain the affiliate program again? In the previous slide, you mentioned about the affiliate marketing platform, right? Can you explain a bit about after 10 years? I think on 8 point.
Yeah, Vidura. When it comes to like affiliate in marketing, we all know that we can like encourage the other platforms like the public. It can be a public, it can be a school. When it comes to ISEC, we run a lot of projects in national wise and the entity wise. In that we can like generate a recognition, some kind of recognition that we are like doing somewhat the social or the volunteer activities, so we can like make awareness people, that make them aware the public that we can like do something towards the public. So it can be an example like if we are doing something more on the society or the education platforms or projects, so the set of the education people or the school children can be affiliate towards our project, so we can be a somewhat like influencer for them to generate something effective thing through our ISEC brand. That was the thing we want to mention in here.
Okay, I think the affiliate marketing, that term is a bit different from what you explained. But overall, the idea is good. Like if you can incorporate affiliate marketing into the products and services of ISEC, it is really good. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we invite Isaac in Ruhuna to present.
Hello everyone, I'm Raini from Ruhuna. So let me tell you the discussion we had about how we feel about the brand of ISEC in present. So as we discussed, this is basically a youth-driven brand. The popularity of ISEC is among most of the university students. We feel ISEC as youth, leadership, and energetic brand. And of course, ISEC has successful brand assets and liabilities, and it enhances the potential of society, and it tends to foreign culture as well. This covers projects and internships. And basically, ISEC is focusing on developing leadership skills. And finally, since it uplifts the society, it will exist for a long time period. So that's all we discussed about the brand of ISEC in the present. So over to you, Naveen, to explain about how we feel about the brand of ISEC after 10 years.
In the next 10 years, when someone says ISEC, here's what he wants to create his mind. The first one is the popularity of the ISECs will spread beyond the university zone up to the school level, and will be popular among the school leavers too. And a chance to meet experienced ISECers from a different part and be able to make ISECers everywhere, and a brand which has done a successful project connected to the community. Then ISEC will be a choice of everyone who goes abroad from internship and a voluntary. And also there is a main room for internship of ISEC in a job career, and we focus on more skills which rather develop interpersonal skills and more global spread organization from new countries. And finally, sharing with the local culture and a tradition for a gathering. Before the end of our presentations, we want to say the future belongs to those who believe in themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Isaac and Ruhuna. Now we would like to have Isaac and Slick to present next.
Okay, hi, I'm Navidu. I'm the Vice President of Marketing of Isaac Islet. So, how do we feel about the Isaac brand right now? We feel and we know that Isaac is a youth leadership development organization, right? We feel like it's the best youth leadership development organization, right? And we feel that Isaac does more than understanding the audience. We know that Isaac inspires people. But the problem is, most people who know what Isaac is, most people who feel what all these things are already in Isaac, right? The Isaac brand is not synonymous with the feeling of the core values of Isaacs to our customers, right? Our customers doesn't get the exact Isaac experience unless they join Isaac or go on an exchange, right? That is a big problem. Isaac has low brand advocacy as well. That could be a good reason for that. So, how do we feel about brand? How would we want to feel about the Isaac brand in 10 years? So, we want to establish the feel of Isaac that we have right now in every young person in the country in 10 years. So, in order for that, we have to establish Isaac in other universities, island-wide, and we want people to feel like Isaac is the best youth development organization in the country or in the planet. So for that, we have to give a clear image of Isaac than what we have here today by showcasing what we do and just showcasing every single shit we do, basically. Right. So this is the little like Isaac is the definition of leadership development. And we want people to feel like Isaac achieve this and make a clear understanding of Isaac to our customers. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we come to an end of presentations. Thank you for Isaac NCC, NIBM, CS, Rajarata, Sabrahamova, and Uva Velasa, IIT, Candy, Jaffna, USJ, NSBM, Vayamba, Ruhuna, and Slit for sharing your amazing thoughts with us. Now it's time for feedbacks from our speakers.
Vidru, you can start with the feedback.
Okay, so from what I saw from all the presentations, so this is an overall feedback for all of the presentations. There were positive points and negative points in all the presentations. So one thing which I noticed is, so at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that it's better if you guys can get the support of the module if you are going to do this, but I see a lack of usage in that. But from some point, in some points, like I felt like you guys haven't felt about the organization much currently. Mostly if we take about the brand, like we usually take the brand perception through the user, but in this one we took the brand perception through members, you guys. So there were some very general points and very good points as well. So a couple of things that I would suggest to you guys is always bring out more negative points, not always the positive points, because as marketers, you need to you are going to work a lot with the data. So when you look at the data, you can see that where we are at the organization, because our organization is a very people focused, very emotional organization. So when it comes to data, we are a bit behind. So as marketers, have that quality of being a bit data driven when we are working in Isaac. Next one. So one thing which I talking about the 10 years, one thing which I didn't see is that you haven't thought about the technology, what's going to happen in 10 years. All of you guys have thought about what's bad now and good now, and you have forecasted to be better on those points only. So it's better if you guys think of the technology that's going to be there after 10 years. What's going to be like the world, what's going to be like. If you talk about the SDGs, our promised SDGs ends at 2030, right? So at this point, we need to we are currently doing YSF, but YSF is just awareness. So we need to be actionary. So you need to focus on how the next 10 years we are going to action within the next 10 years, because we are going to end our promise in 2030. So we need to make sure those goals are achieved. We can't just do YSF. What can you do instead of YSF? Those points you need to think. Then most of you guys talk about the distribution, PR. Importantly, the school level, the PR through the school level. I think that's a very good point, because people who come to the university, they don't know what ISAC is. That point is there. So if we can do something in the school level, maybe we can incorporate those younglings in whatever the task that we do. I think we can improve the brand awareness, because one thing is never compare ISAC with Leo or Rotaract. It's totally different. Our culture is different. Our vision is different. Our distribution will also be different. We are not going to do we are not going to get distributed to city-based. Likewise, we are not going to do that. We will never do that, because we are our organization is mainly for the youth who are getting educated, who are getting the education from the universities. So those are the people who should run the organization, because we need to make the right decisions. If we talk about Sri Lanka as a country, our leaders are not making the right decision. So we need to make sure that right people do the right job. So that's why ISAC is always limited to a set of people. We are not going to distribute throughout the country. We will distribute to a limit. I remember one person said, we always think about the quality. We are maintaining our quality in this level. That's why we have standards, we have team standards, exchange standards, and we need to scale up. In the quantity wise, we need to grow, and the quality, we need to maintain it at standards. So that's one point. And the other point is, I like the idea about affiliate marketing, although the meaning is a bit different. So affiliate marketing means you are going to sell someone's product and you are going to get a commission. That's the simplest form of affiliate marketing. So if you are going to do affiliate marketing for ISAC, maybe you can incorporate that with brand advocacy. So if you don't know about brand advocacy, talk to your LCVPs, marketing VPs, and ask them what is brand advocacy, because it's one of our major terms which we are using in ISAC. So overall, I think you guys have put a lot of efforts into this, and the designs are really good. You guys have been very thoughtful. But the biggest negative point is that you guys haven't thought about how the world is going to look like after 10 years. So that part you need to think, because the organization needs to adapt. If the organization doesn't adapt, we are going to fail. Our organization, there won't be an ISAC in 10 years. So that one you need to think, when you are going to work in your entity. So I heard one person was saying, talk about Snapchat and TikTok. So those are good ideas. Those are new platforms. So we are going to adapt to those platforms. Likewise, there are a lot of things that where we have to adapt. So I think you guys will at those points your thought process when you are doing planning. Thilina, you can start.
Yes. Thank you, Vidura. So yeah, I'll also start the feedback with something that Vidura also talked about. Basically, even we had this discussion with when I was in few of the breakout rooms as well. You guys you guys focused a lot on the positives, but I feel like you guys didn't look much into the negatives, the current weaknesses of our organization, because as the marketers, we need to focus on we need to identify where we are weak as well. You guys could have I sort of expected you guys to do a small SWOT as well for our organization. SWOT is a very basic tool when it comes to and measuring an organization, and it's not a great industry analysis tool, but yeah, it's a anyway, you guys could have identified more weaknesses of our organization, especially we had that discussion with Sita as well, about the organizational culture. The thing is I'll touch on that point, because when it comes to organizational culture, that's one of the main differentiation points of our organization when compared to other youth organizations. So like with the pandemic situation, like with the things will be drastically different. Like it won't be the same. Like nothing will be the same in couple of years. So like I feel like pretty much all of you guys like did not focus more on that, brainstorming, forecasting how things will be. So like maybe you could have thought more about driving the organizational culture in new ways, because like we won't be able to do what we were doing 2-3 years back. So there's that. And other than that, there were some really good points as well. Like I especially like the streets bank paper challenge as well, and everyone had like really good artwork. Like creativity is there, like spot on, nice work. But yeah, overall maybe you guys should have focused more on like weaknesses as well, like because like 10 years is a the thing is though, like there's this as well, like in 10 years the weaknesses currently we have, like we definitely have to like overcome them. We have to convert them to our strengths, but at the same time, like we may not have them in 10 years, but overall like especially the current context, that's the part like you guys are like, everyone was like pretty much like showcasing like a really amazing, like really top-notch current context. But the reality is not that. Like let's be real, even the reasoning behind this project, why we started this project, was there because we are lacking. Like you could have identified that as well, like when it comes to marketing sector, for an example. So things like that, like be more critical on the current context, because like if you are not critical on the current context, we will not be able to grow, because like, we need to identify where we need to grow. There's that. And also like think, like I expected you guys to think more like in 10 years who will be our customers. Like yes, like you guys are still thinking about GV, GT and GTA and GTE. Like products may change. Like I'm pretty sure back when we joined ISEC, like IGV had a different name, things like that, different logos, different products. And yeah, so and like when we initially started the organization as well, yes, IGCDP, yeah, initially started the organization as well, we didn't have GV, things like that. So like we may have to come up with new products, especially with the pandemic situation, with the like the world is moving to virtual working, because like the smart organization and sessions are like identifying like you can cut off lots of overheads with the work from home situation. So there are things like that we may have to adapt as well. So like yeah, you guys could have thought more like that, the critical thinking, that's an area where you can improve. And overall, yeah, overall good work, everyone have put in a lot of effort, despite in 30 minutes. I'm really happy to see that, because yeah, overall good work. Yeah, let's hope to see, like I'm pretty sure none of us will be members in 10 years, but it would be amazing to see ISEC and ISEC Sri Lanka in a really amazing position in 10 years. When we are when we are getting old, we can tell stories about ISEC as well to the younger generation. So that's that. Overall, yeah, overall good job. Focus, think more on the critical thinking aspect. Yeah, thank you, Achani.
Thank you, Tilinaya, and thank you, Viduraya, for the amazing feedbacks. And delegates, now we'll be open for a quick question Q&A session. Please let us know your questions through the chat box, or else please unmute yourself and ask the questions. Once again,
guys, if you have any questions, like please go ahead. This is the time.
Okay, there's a question from Chamara.
Yeah, Chamara, including affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is basically you are selling someone's product and you are getting a commission out of it. So how this is done basically is, you might see in YouTube and other digital platforms, there are links for the products, like put our discount, put our name and get a discount. So those are basically affiliate marketing. So what's going to happen is whoever sells the product, they are getting a commission out of that. So if there's a product in ISEC which can be sold through affiliates, people who interact with the affiliate marketing, I think that will be a good idea. As an example, if we can, I don't know, like we need to, it's like this, incorporating, before incorporating anything into ISEC, we need to run a risk matrix. So if you don't know about the risk matrix, just Google and see. So the risk matrix, you need to put a risk matrix and see what are the risks associated with this innovation or whatever the thing that you're going to do. So you need to first do it and see for Isaac whether affiliate marketing is good for Isaac. If it's good, then you can do it, because I can't promise you, I can't give a definite word saying that you can do affiliate marketing for Isaac, but you need to run a risk matrix and see what are the risks, whether we are good to do or not. Then we can do affiliate marketing through the digital channels, digital YouTubers or whatever, whoever involves in affiliate marketing, we can incorporate those people. Yeah. Any chance to brand equity fail? Yeah, brands can fail. Like brand equity, as I mentioned, like there are a lot of points into brand equity, a lot of elements. Some elements can fail, some elements might not. But that's the point. Like if you are gonna like, there's a brand equity scale from positive to negative. Actually, like if the brand is going for negative, we can actually predict that this brand is going to fail. So that is actually the brands actually can fail, the equity can fail. Yeah.
I'll add a small point to that as well. Like there are some lots of real life examples as well. I'm not sure whether you guys know about Blockbuster. Blockbuster Entertainment, that was like basically the main competitor of Netflix. Like Netflix is now basically a streaming service, but back then they used to like send DVDs to your house through mail. Okay, so Blockbuster started in 80s if I remember correctly. Anyway, like they won at one point in around 2007 if I'm not mistaken. They were supposed they had the 2004, yeah, they had the largest market share, but with their mismanagement of the brand and which resulted in failure of brand equity, they went bankrupt in around 2007. I can't remember the exact dates. So that's one. Yeah, Shayan. GameSpot is another good example. There are lots of brand disasters. So yeah, exactly. Like you have to adapt as well. Like same thing. Yeah. GameSpot also, like they had brick and mortar shops, like they didn't properly adapt to online sales market, and with computers like Steam and even PlayStation, Xbox, all of them adapted to online marketplaces, e-commerce, and they like GameSpot was like very late, and also like from what I read, like their customer service was utter garbage as well. At the end, like yeah, they also went bankrupt. So yeah, basically like you can talk with us, like you can connect with us through LinkedIn, myself and both Vidura as well. These are the links, and you can contact us through other social media as well as through WhatsApp as well. So yeah, Acha, over to you. And one more thing, guys. Small disturbance. One more thing before giving the floor to Acha. Thank you for being an amazing delegation. Like you guys were like really motivated. All the entities from like local committees to official expansions to initiative groups. Everyone was like really hyped up. I'm really proud to see this. Your feedback, your output during the workshop today. So amazing job being great job being an amazing delegation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tilinaya, and thank you, Viduraya, for joining us tonight. I'm also happy to mention that they are Member Committee Vice President for Business to Business Marketing and Brand and Customer Experience for the term 2021 and 1920 respectively. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time and thoughts with us. And thank you to all the entities again. As Tilinaya said, you guys have been an amazing delegation for us. And also, we would like to have the same enthusiasm throughout the session, throughout this program. We would like to mention that we will be taking attendance of delegates throughout the process, so that this attendance will be taken in consideration for your certification by the end of this program. And with us, we come to the end of tonight. Please turn on your camera so that we can take a quick photo. While you are turning on your cameras, let me remind you to join us tomorrow to a session about new product development from Dr. Rohantha Athakorala, who is one of our keynote speakers from last night. So I'm very sure that we will be able to learn a lot about the topic tomorrow also. So make sure you join us. And guys, again, I would like to give you a small reminder. You'll have a certification in your hands by the end of this program. So make sure you attend all the sessions and get the best out of it. With that, we come to the end of tonight. Stay home, stay safe, and have fun. We'll have some roll calls playing now. The people who would like to stay and have some fun, you're always welcome. Thank you and good night.